I think it's important for men to be able to kind of peek inside your mind. What are you thinking? What are you feeling when that eye contact is being made? A man may be exuding lust or sexual attraction or whatever it may be. What do y'all feel?
It would just be like, oh, his ass come. That's how I would feel.
So there's nothing there that like appreciates it? My nigga, everything is love, but that on anything I love. Yeah.
Peace, beloved.
Hi.
How does it feel to be able to sit on a couch with your legs crossed?
I don't sit on anything. I hover. You can sit on the couch. I don't sit on anything. How about them apples?
I wasn't even trying to
expect me
pause
go
you.
there? I know. I got to watch you, bro. I've created a pause monster out here. No Diddy monster. Fellas, be careful what you invite your wife into, your girlfriend into, because they'll use it against you. Quick, fast.
I wasn't even trying to pause you.
I mean, you can't. I didn't go with it.
I was really just trying to see what it felt like to be able to cross your legs.
Mm-hmm. You still going?
Oh, I'm trying.
You still going? Now you about to start talking about my thighs, which I don't have.
I'll ask him. I'm like, so do you have thighs? He's like, no, I have legs.
I don't have thighs.
And I'm like, do you have a butt?
No, I got lower back. I don't got no butt, no thighs. No disrespect to brothers who feel like they do. I know some of y'all be busting out y'all body pants just to show off your accoutrement, right? But nah, not over here. You like that? Accoutrement?
Sure.
Yeah. All right, so word for the day.
Perpendiculation. I think I said it the right way.
I believe it's pendiculation.
Pendiculation.
That's a good one, though. Give it to him.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember the full definition, but it's what happens when you stretch your body. That when you stretch and you like,
and the sensation of
it feels so good. It's pendiculation.
Oh, that's good enough. Use it in a sentence.
I just felt so much pendiculation.
See, I was gonna go somewhere else with it.
What?
Like when I be stretching you out.
Okay. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of God Is Me.
Yeah.
This is Candyss Love.
It's your boy, the brick to the city to the mother effing Buddha.
And we are back with another beautiful episode. And I have on my inner child sweater, which is so interesting because I don't feel like a little kid right now.
What you feel
and maybe I feel like an adult that just did a whole bunch of stuff. That's what I feel like.
That's what you exuding.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. So hopefully my inner child essence comes through and gives me some energy. And it's so cute because I got it from a thrift guy at a market for a vegan something in Houston. And I think it was just like $10. And it's so cozy and warm and colorful and pretty. And I hope somebody's jealous of it.
Remember the dudes was trying to holler at you?
Yeah, I was walking into the market and it was like 5 dudes tall. Oh, it was all standing there talking. And what I had on that day was scantily clad.
Come on, scantily clad.
And when I walked up, they looked at me, and you could tell when someone has the eyes of when you walk over here, I'm about to try to talk to you. And when I say the eye contact was eye contacting, I swiftly turned around and I went to go find my husband because I don't think men acknowledge how that makes people feel uncomfortable. I'm walking into a little thrift shop and I'm looking for something cute and I'm being met with stares, even though there's stares of admiration based on I'm assuming they thought that I was attractive, but it's not intimidating, it's overwhelming if that's not what you are looking to experience. And so I made a full turnaround and I went to go find my husband, and luckily one of our friends was right there. He was like, "Oh, Candyss." I was like, "Oh my God, Jess, you saved me." And then right when he came, my husband came around the corner. I was like, "Babe, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to walk in there by myself." And he walked in there with me. And the guys actually left, and the main owner was there, and he was just super cool. And I think the owner felt
it too.
I think he felt the innocence that I was exuding once I found this sweater. And he was just so nice. He was like, "Nah, you can leave it here. You ain't even got to carry it." He gave me like a huge discount, and he was just really cool about it. So my inner child was able to really come out when I found the sweater, as opposed to just feeling uncomfortable.
So a few things is coming out of that before we go ahead and get into topics, though. We kind of went inside your mind on a different episode when we was talking about the mean girl stuff and what you feel in social settings. Speaking for women, of course, from your perspective, I think it's important for men to be able to kind of peek inside your mind. What are you thinking? What are you feeling when that eye contact is being made? A man may be exuding lust or sexual attraction or whatever it may be. What do y'all feel? What are y'all thinking? What goes through your body?
I can't speak for every woman, but I know for me, before I was married to this perfect, handsome man right here next to me, before I was married and that would happen, it would just be like, "Oh, his ass come." That's how I would feel.
So there's nothing there that like appreciates it initially. I know if he presents himself the right way and you may walk away like, "Okay, that was a cool experience."
Well, it don't tend to happen that way, to where it's like, "Oh, that was a cool experience." It don't really happen that way. It's not often that someone approaches you that you actually want to approach you. Like most of the time, the people who are gearing up the nerve to approach you are not people that
you ain't got no.
They're not people that you would entertain in the first place. So it's not even. It's not a good experience on the back end. Yeah. But I think the idea of the fact that someone saw you attractive enough to approach you, that is a good feeling on the back end. But the actual experience itself, for me personally, is kind of overwhelming unless that's the energy that I'm in. If I'm going to a party, that might be the energy that I'm in because, you know, I'm dressed, I'm looking good, I'm feeling sexy. So I don't mind entertaining a man. I'm kind of dressed up in a way to where I'm inviting interaction. So that's different. But
in day-to-day life,
day-to-day, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
For me, they shouldn't.
Okay. But because it's not always going to be a club, right? So at certain points, brothers do kind of got to shoot their shot in day-to-day life. If it's a moment like that, what can he do to make it less threatening and less
Make me laugh.
Okay.
Make me laugh. Okay. There's been times I was at another vegan event, and this guy walked up to me out of the blue, and he was just like, I hope you feel as beautiful as you really are. And I was like,
"Ooh, come on,
sir, you can't."
I almost lost you.
You can't walk up on me and say nothing like that. But the beautiful part that made that a beautiful experience is that was it.
And he just walked away.
He handled his business. He said what he needed to say. He didn't ask or anything. He just wanted to acknowledge that he thought I was beautiful, and he went on about his business. And I thought that was just so beautiful.
Did he smell good?
I don't know what he smelled like because he wasn't there that long. No, he didn't smell like you, baby. Yeah, let me smell you.
Okay. Shout out to Kendrick. Another question, as far as, because this is interesting to me, like the eye contact piece. Who was we just watching? Mike was here, and he was saying some study about looking at a person more than 3 seconds.
Yeah, he he was basically saying that I think they teach it in HR, or they probably teach
That's
it
what
in
it
like the
was.
kink things and
Yeah.
stuff like that, those kink things that he goes to. And he said that it's considered, I guess, something close to
Sexual harassment
Yeah,
in HR, most HR
yeah,
places.
sexual harassment if you look at someone more than 3 seconds.
So like, what's the best way he can finagle just eye contact before he say anything, before he hit you with a line? What would make you, and you still kind of speaking for women from your personal experience, but what would make you feel most safe, just as far as the initial point of
Eye
eyes
contact?
connecting? Yes. What can you
Yeah.
do?
So I know if a person is going to approach me based on how they are looking at me, but to make me actually intrigued with what may be about to happen, I used to love when guys wink their eye at me. I thought that was very endearing.
See, you old school, because
I
they call the
did.
cops on you at this point. You try to wink your eye.
I thought that was just so cute. You wink your eye, and that was and I would prefer that than you just staring at me. It was a indication that there's interest present.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the ability to do what I wanted to do with that information, as opposed to you just staring at me, and I guess me having to like come up with what that stare means, what the intention is. A wink just felt a little softer in intention.
So where I'm from, I know how it is out here. I'm starting to learn. I know, from Jersey, we say what up and all that type of stuff. Out here is already. Every man I walk past and I try to acknowledge already, right? So I start saying it now. But the younger, or at least my generation, it was this, right? The older generation of men, it was, right? They give you the down joint. What about as far as some form of gesticular outside of just the point of eye contact? Like one of those, or, you know what I'm saying? Like
Okay. Let's see.
a wave. I'm trying to help y'all out, fella. I'm trying to get y'all the game right now. What else could he do to present himself as non-threatening as possible? Because the reason I'm asking this stuff, we've been in so many conversations where safety is at a minimum as far as how men approach women, and even when they get women. We've talked about a lot about safety. How can he initiate that safe space in some of these ways outside of just what he's actually going to say to you? So is there anything he
Yeah.
can put with the eye contact?
I
Bust a Michael Jackson move or something like that? That would make you laugh?
I mean, maybe not the Michael Jackson move, but imagine a guy dancing over to you. It's a little like, you've caught my attention.
In the grocery store or at the club? It don't matter. If he do it at the grocery store, he a legend.
And my thing
he's
is,
just weird.
you kind of got to understand set
You gotta
and
read the
setting.
room. You gotta read
There's
the
a
room.
time and a place. You see me walking around looking busted, let me suffer in peace, okay? Leave me alone. And
Okay, all right, okay. I'm gonna let you finish.
yes, and there's also like an energy of, it just feels better when there's a certain scene.
Okay.
When you introduce yourself. But I mean, you're not gonna always meet somebody in the perfect scene. Sometimes you do meet people in a grocery store. But for me, if I'm not thinking about that in the grocery store, I need you to be presentable.
So could women possibly be? 'Cause I feel like a lot of women is going to agree with what you're saying right now, because
And they may not.
Because I think a lot, well, of course, there's always going to be both sides. But part of what we're going to talk about in a little bit, if we get to it, and just watching you as a wife and being the coordinator and the curator of this space, and how big feng shui and staging. We were just watching the video the other day. The married brother was talking about, we got these towels here that I'm not supposed to touch, right?
The decor.
The decor, all that different stuff is extremely important to y'all. How y'all throw y'all stuff on, when y'all arrive, how y'all arrive. So I think it's a lot of validity to what you're saying, and a man being able to understand that counts. But reminiscent of, and I know we're not rocking with Drake no more like we used to, right?
Ooh.
But classic line from Drake. What'd he say? Head tied, sweatpants, chilling with no makeup on.
Yeah.
You may feel like Scoop Ball McCoy, right? You may be out here in these streets feeling like you the dustiest of the dusty, but he may see the most beautiful woman he ever saw in his life, and this may be his only opportunity.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
So still in that
and let me
setting,
tell
it's
you
just
why
not the right time. It's just...
So it depends. If I'm going out and I'm just trying to go out to get vegan butter.
Okay.
And I know that I look a mess.
To you.
To me, which also means, do I feel my
I got you.
best? Do I feel confident?
You may feel insecure
Do
or
I
stuff
feel
like that.
like I can have this conversation with this man? Do I even feel like if he gives me eye-to-eye contact, that I can give him eye-to-eye contact as well, and I can be fully present?
Right.
Can I even enjoy the experience of our first meeting? So, I mean, I don't know that that's like a good enough reason to bypass what could potentially be a future long-term partner, but it all goes, it plays a part.
Now that makes sense. And if I was still a single man, you saying that, I probably would like kind of recalibrate. If I felt the need to, I probably would still. I don't even know if I like the language "shoot my shot" at this point, because you just kind of humanized that experience for me in a way I've never looked at it before. I wouldn't want the opportunity to go by, even like beyond just the aesthetic synergy, right? You can feel certain things as a man beyond just how beautiful a woman is. Was like I knew from the moment I saw a picture of you and your caption. I mean, you was looking how you was looking, right? I'm gonna put it like that. But when I read your caption, there was a certain synergy in your words and how you talked about solitude. So I would probably say something to you, and I guess keep it moving like the dude did. But that does humanize the whole holler or try to bag a woman situation more than I've ever had it humanized. I think that's important.
Yeah, and I think, say it is somewhere like a grocery store where, some people are just getting off work. There's a lot of energy going into a grocery store or a place that is outside of the norm where you would meet someone, like a club, a gathering, a friends event. I think it just has to be accounted for that whatever my approach is to make sure the other person feels as comfortable as possible.
That's real.
So maybe asking, do you have the capacity for me to talk to you for a little bit? Like just stating what your intention is.
Writing
and
a note and just handing it to you and
that's
keep it
cute.
moving.
That's cute.
And on a note saying, I know you may have felt like you wasn't in your full Beyonce-esqueness right now, but I still saw beauty, and I just didn't want to encroach on how you may have felt about, you just being in your regular bag.
Because what I recognize when people aren't in that space, they'll tell you. I remember I used to have guys that would try to talk to me, and they would say, "Yo, I just got off work. Don't judge what I have on. This ain't how I normally dress." They would always let you know, this ain't what you gonna get. This is just where I am right now, based on what the day held. So I think people are pretty forthcoming with that. But I think in generally for men, when they are speaking to women, it's about being innovative in their approach. It's about being safe in their approach. And whatever you can do to bring out the softness in a woman, and typically it's through humor.
And then I'm also hearing be respectful and understanding and appreciative of the mental load of just y'all own appearance.
Yes.
Well, we may see the most beautiful woman in the world. Y'all going through all these gymnastics in your head. If a man does approach you, damn, I got my makeup on, I got this, I ain't got the, what is he saying? So I could definitely understand that. I never used to factor that in.
And maybe you go directly in with some sort of compliment or something that's like, you're glowing or whatever the case is, you just look beautiful, or you feel like you have a beautiful spirit. I just wanted to take some time to introduce myself. Things like that disarm a woman energetically really create more chance for a guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nuance we didn't have on the list, because today we kind of talking about how to groom a healthy relationship, how to avoid some missteps that people may tend to make from what we've seen out here. Holding the space that we do in the relationship arena. That's a big one I never thought about. And it actually brings up something else too. Did you ever think it was weird that I would I will always ask you when we were still long distance, probably early on into the romance coming into our relationship, because we spent about 3 months just friendship. We didn't even see this coming. No pun intended. But did you ever think it was weird or peculiar that I will always ask you, so that anybody holler at you today? Right? And I will ask you that in a way, not out of jealousy. It was out of genuine interest, because I know how fine you are. I know how beautiful you are. And low key, I wanted other men to be able to recognize and appreciate that and honor that by trying to holler at you.
Yeah.
And when you would tell me that, you would usually say no, right? Because it's weird out here. Most beautiful women don't get approached. I'm seeing a lot of statistics and women talking about that now. That I guess men are intimidated, and the women that you would think everybody trying to holler at, they phone dry and nobody coming up to them. But the moments where you would tell me like, yeah, somebody did try to holler, I would want to hear the whole story.
Yeah.
Did you think that was weird or peculiar?
I didn't. It just felt like we were really open with, what was going on outside of what we had the information of. So I thought you was just curious, and I was curious because I would ask you as well, and it was just like, oh, okay, that's cool. I know that's right. And then it's because we are both good looking people, so we want to see what other people come up to us as well. But what I learned from me is kind of what our last podcast was about. When you start to evolve and when you start to heal, the caliber of people that you attract becomes different because they now reflect where you are and not where you were. So the more I healed, the less people started to approach me and try to talk to me and try to get my number because it's not that many people that may be on that level and carry that much wisdom and have that much spiritual integrity and implement the lessons that they need to heal, grow, and evolve. So to some degree, my energetic field was repelling a lot of people that didn't have permission to approach me. And the people that did seep through the cracks was like, that may actually be a nice guy, but no. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now even people just don't approach me. I can't remember the last time somebody approached me. Now people may say, you're beautiful. Yeah. They may acknowledge how they think that I look, but it's never with an intention to stay. It's never with an intention to get my number. It's never with an intention to create some type of relationship or interaction. It's just to admire me from a distance and then go on about their business. It's almost like they don't even know where the respect comes from. Like they don't even know, why am I not stopping? Yeah. It's just so much respect in how they admire me and then continue on their path, and that allows me to continue on my path. So it kind of sounds like God is whispering in their ear, this is not a person that you stop in her tracks.
And you got like a force field around you damn near. And it's crazy because from my perspective, being that we was on the same frequency, because I never looked at it like the whole repel force field thing, I'm seeing it like, y'all don't see this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why ain't I would almost be mad when you would tell me ain't nobody holler at you today, because it's like, bro, what are y'all doing?
Yeah. So it, to some degree, when you heal, that energetic field kind of becomes a protection, a protective field. It becomes like a cloak. And people who aren't allowed to talk, because you have a lot of people who will try to talk to people where it's like, you ain't done enough work to talk to that person.
Yeah.
You ain't worked on yourself enough to have enough confidence to talk to a person like that that's really on her stuff or on his stuff. That's not a person that's equally yoked with you. I feel like when people really start to heal, grow, and evolve, there's something within that energetic field that lets other people know you aren't allowed to interact with this person on that romantic type of level.
Yeah, and then grooming a healthy relationship, that's fire. That's super overlooked because when you got that dichotomy that we just talked about, you doing the work to like fine tune yourself to be in a very elite, exclusive frequency that not everybody can rock with or even approach. And then on the other hand, having the respect for your partner, understanding that they're in that frequency.
Right.
And if somebody did, you not up in arms, like, of course, you that, because so many people, especially, the brothers I hear from, that may not have ever cheated, right? But may have a certain resonance and magnetism that they give off. And 9 times out of 10, they don't even realize a woman is trying to holler at them. Y'all can always read the room as far as when other women are trying to do that, but they'll still get in trouble. As if
he
they
won't get in trouble though. But it is women who have a lot of
I feel like I'm in the same
him.
Force field. Ain't nobody looking at me like that. I'm Big Bro. I'm Baba. I'm the OG. But I feel like that respect on both levels. If I'm really doing the work, I'm not even really necessarily going to have to stop a woman or tell a woman, nah, it ain't that. That vibration already going out. Even if that's in the back of her head, it's never going to come to my doorstep. Vice versa, but also having the respect of my wife if somebody do try to holler, or vice versa. We not up in arms. I feel like a lot of dissension happens right there, and usually early on in a relationship, like once y'all agree to exclusivity, we're going to be monogamous, it's just me and you, I feel like that's when a lot of the jealousy starts to ramp up in a relationship. So having these things in pocket, I think, is really big. That was fire.
Yeah.
I never look at it like that. You had anything else on that?
Well, yeah, because I'm convinced that women think my husband is like the finest thing walking, and I'm like, so people don't try to talk to you. There are moments that people try to talk to my husband, but I know that there's a level of magnetism that you have that I think confuses women, and it's like, okay, he feels like my brother.
Yeah.
He also feels like he could be a father figure.
Yeah.
But then he also has the qualities that I would like to have in a relationship. Right. And that's kind of confusing to where it may not be so strong to where they actually try to, talk to you. But it's strong enough to where it's something that they feel that they may not be able to label, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. Right. It's just that it's so peculiar. Peculiar. Ooh, this country tongue ain't trying to have it. It's so peculiar. Okay. That they don't really know what to do with that energy.
You remember I was working with, it was probably maybe 3-4 months ago, working with this young boy from New York. I think he was either from Harlem or Brooklyn, like real New York young dude, right? Talk like they do and all of that. He was cool though. He was leveling up. And he said he discovered me through your page. And he was like, what really drew me to your white page, like, yo, no disrespect, OG, no disrespect. But she was looking how she was looking. But before I even knew that she was married or you was around, it was something coming off of her like, this not even the type of woman you holler at. Like, whatever she got going on in her life, she good. And then I discovered your page, and then, this is why I'm here in this session.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just kind of reminded me of that.
That's what it
real.
is.
That's real.
Yeah.
All right, so moving along in the conversation, being that we kind of talked about that first phase of, all right, we together now, something that does often come up as far as how to groom a healthy relationship is knowing or feeling into, of course, what's going to be unique to y'all, when to post your partner, when to keep things sacred.
Yeah.
And I hear different ends of the spectrum. Some of the women I work with is like, Doc, he ain't post me yet, and it's making me feel away. Or the men is saying sometimes to women like, bro, she want me to already post, and I'm trying to just make sure we.
Yeah.
Where do you fall on this? Because we had a unique journey as far as that too.
Right. So I understand both sides.
Yeah.
And what I want to first start off with is privacy doesn't always mean secrecy. And I think it's up to the person to discern what's really happening in that area, because you could be in a relationship where it's just not time for a person to post you on social media. And then also figuring out, why is that a need for you? Where does that need to be seen together come from, specifically on social media?
Right.
So there's internal work and dialogue that needs to happen before the requirement, because I never had to give you a requirement, and you never had to give me one. So if it's a requirement for you, if a person were giving me that type of requirement, I would kind of now have to ask, why is this a requirement for you? What does it do for you? What power does it give you? And when I don't post you on my social media, what power does it take away? What wound does it trigger? What trauma does it trigger? And what does it make you feel? Less than, unworthy, unlovable, afraid, unvalidated, fear of not being chosen. So I do understand when some people are like, let's just see if this relationship is going to work, if we're compatible, if this is something that's going to last a long time, or at least for a decent amount of time before we post each other on social media. Because I know a lot of people are afraid of that happiness, that excitement, and they post you, and then something happens, and then they feel embarrassed when they got to take all of those pictures down. And I've been there.
Whole new IG every 3 months.
I done deleted all that shit, okay? And so I understand what that feels like, but then we have to go into, relationships end. And that's nothing to be embarrassed about, no matter how much of your heart you gave, no matter how much you trusted. Relationships end for various reasons. So with that, I kind of can't say that I agree with keeping your partner off of social media fully. There's another avenue to where it's like, if you love this person, then share what you love.
Right.
If you love this person, then enjoy what you love,
Right.
regardless of, we don't know if it's gonna last long. Nobody knows what's gonna last a long time.
And that's kind of my thing, especially with the fellas. It ain't always that we moving and shaking, and even if we are doing extracurricular things outside of the person we courting or developing a relationship with, it may just be like we haven't gotten to that part of the connection where it's like, all right, I gotta cut off all my holes, right?
Yeah.
So it may still be lingering energies that he's not really even engaged with. But for us, I don't know how it is for y'all. There's an apprehension to that. There's a fear, there's a nervousness. Even if I feel like, nah, you the one I'm supposed to be with right now and I'm excited about going forward, it's like, but, you know, if I got to leave all them behind and this don't work, you know what I'm saying? So we low-key be scared and we be trying to monkey bar, right? I forgot what comedian said it. He talked about it more so with women, but, you know, women will monkey bar the end of a relationship where y'all know this is going nowhere. But until I monkey bar my way to something more substantial, I'm going to stay in this relationship. And then when Jim come around, I'm ready to depart, I'm going to jump off. We kind of monkey bar at the other part in the beginning of the relationship because it's like I want to trust that this is working, but I've been hurt so many times. I don't trust women. A lot of men don't. And we'll kind of like try to keep us stable, right?
Yeah.
So when you get to that point where it's time to post, like we had a very unique experience where, again, we was long distance. We was 9 months in before we even was in the flesh physically. And it was never a matter of, I'm not going to post this or talk about this because our families didn't know.
Yeah.
I came out
Yeah,
here.
we didn't tell nobody.
I came out here to Houston the first time during COVID. It's still quarantining happening, all type of stuff. I'm about to get on the flight. My mother called me. I'm like, I'm going to Houston. She's like, what? God rest my mother's soul. She's like, what you doing out there? I'm going to see about a girl, right? But it wasn't a matter of, I don't know where this is going, because even that fear is kind of sending out a vibration that this ain't going to work. And I always quote the line from Nas on the Life is Good album, the song by Baby, when he was talking about his relationship with Khalees. And he talked about how much judgment he got when they broke up from other people, especially other men. And he was just saying like, bro, at least I tried and I enjoyed the ride.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm going to fully be in this, I'm not thinking about what's going to go wrong on the other end of the spectrum. But brothers will post their car, they new jewelry, they new watch, they new song, their football team when they win. Everything that's important to them goes up on their feed, but not your woman.
Yeah. And all of those things can also be lost at any given time.
Exactly. Right? Your team could be 10-0 the first 10 games of the season and they trash for the rest of the season, but y'all still posting. Right? So when it got to the point when we connected, that's when we did start to get public with it. And it still wasn't a conversation. It was just like, I'm so excited and happy about this, regardless of what tomorrow brings. The world need to know that I'm in this capacity, and also anybody that may have been looking at me like that, y'all also need to know that Docs is good now. So I think I guess that's a conversation y'all gotta have, but I do see merit on both sides. And for a man to just say, well, I'm just private. Bro, you're not private with nothing else.
And that's unfair because it's like one thing that is kind of forcing is for you to choose. It's forcing you to decide. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are afraid of just deciding. Mm-hmm. And then that's where you have to bring into play how you actually treat yourself. Mm-hmm. I can't really expect for you to be a stand-up person when you can't make a final decision on what's best for you, and then also correlate that with you knowing what's best for us, because you can't even decide to choose me. Right. So why would I even trust a man like that to be in a relationship with me, to have trusting values, morals, to lead and guide me in all these ways, where you can't even decide whether or not I am the one for you? And let's move forward in all the things that will make you happy, all the things that will make me happy. Right. And if sharing us on social media, if I'm yours and you're mine, I don't think there's any reason why you can't share who I am and what we are to one another.
And I want you to feel that safety, understanding as a man, as a black man, we got, certain trauma and karma that comes with us sexually and how we abuse our sexual energy. I'm going to understand 9 times out of 10, you probably been violated a lot of times by men, not felt chosen, not knowing where you really stand, if he doing something extracurricular in the background. So if I'm really rocking with you, and I want to secure a foundation of safety, I want to be the first person to go make sure you understand, like, nah, this is what it is. I'm here for real. And anybody that may have felt the way or may have kind of been in the wings, now they understand that, nah, this is mine. I want to be able to do that for you. On the other end, being together now 5 years, sharing so much of our relationship, that really ain't been a lot. People feel like we share everything, and from the inside looking out, less than 5% of our relationship goes out.
Yeah.
Also understanding the need for sacredness, right? And what not to share. One of the things I reference is you're beautiful, right? Your face, your body, the whole package, right? You could easily thirst trap to death, even before you met me. When you would post yourself in bikinis and stuff like that, you out here doing van life. You talking about 4 years of celibacy. You are in the element. It's hot. You always hot and always cold at the same time, right? So it still didn't even give off the vibration of thirst trapping or trying to get attention. And you've also went through a lot of changes since we've been together in your body. You've been able to reach certain goals that you had set for yourself that you never thought you would be able to reach. Conquering food, establishing a better relationship with food, skin popping out the woodworks at this point. And you still don't thirst trap. You could easily do that. There are moments, though, that when you want to celebrate a milestone with your body, when you feel like, damn, I'm looking good, and you in the gym, it still ain't not tasteful, right? But it's certain pieces where another man may be like, yo, that's too much. Don't show that. But there are no conversations I got to have with you, because there's always a certain level of respect for me, with the freedom that I extend to you to not feel a way about when you may show more skin than other men may feel comfortable with.
Right.
Where do you stand on couples being able to balance what's sacred to them and how to understand how to navigate that?
Yeah, I think conversations like that are important beforehand, because even
in the dating phase, phase?
I think so. Or at least as women are getting comfortable with their bodies, and I think it's women just want to show certain things because they feel good about certain things. And it's like when we wear certain things outside, people think, oh, you wearing that because you want attention. I'm wearing that because I actually feel good in my body. You have no idea how long it took me to get to that place. And that's where a lot of women are. But I feel like in relationships, men do have to understand that women are in a constant battle of trying to love their bodies. They're in a constant battle of trying to feel at home in their bodies, feeling safe in their bodies. And I don't feel like a man has permission to intervene with a woman while she tries to do whatever it takes to come back home to herself, even if it means exposing herself in a way that may not be honorable to her. Let her go through that phase of recognizing how she has dishonored herself, because I had to go through a phase of recognizing how I dishonored myself. My first Instagram account had 20,000 followers from thirst traps. And then I recognized that's not actually who I want to be. And I had to delete that entire page. So I had to do a lot of apologizing to myself for how I dishonored myself for the attention, for the follows, and for the validation. But I do still ask you, when there's moments where I want to post something, are you okay with this? And you'll say, babe, it's your body, whatever you want to do.
I've never told you no.
No. And I still have the thought process that I'm also not just a representation of myself. I'm also a representation of my husband, and I don't want to do anything that's going to make you feel uncomfortable. But you've also kind of hit that nugget back at me. It's like, but I want to do everything to make sure you always feel safe. And so, and not feel safe, feel free. And so I think that those are conversations. If a woman wants a level of freedom, then she needs to be able to express that. And a man needs to be able to express what makes him feel uncomfortable without also saying, but because I feel uncomfortable, I have to control what you do and tell you what you can and what you can't do. I think there's a balance to how that can happen, to where both parties can meet in the middle.
Yeah, and a few things to what you just said, like seeing it from the outside looking in, but having like a I guess, inside track on what women experience being with you, and then being able to speak with so many women, either in counseling or just in friendship. So when the post may go up, not even just talking about you, when a woman is feeling good, like you said, and the post may go up, a lot of times she not worried about y'all dusties. She don't care if y'all come in there and say all the different things. She's more so looking for validation from her sisters, right? Because y'all gonna pour in a different way that it may strengthen her ability to see herself in that way, and she may draw on some of the tasteful comments from the brothers. All that impacts self-worth, self-value, and just aesthetic, because we know how much pushback y'all receive as women, especially as women of color. Brown and black women are attacked constantly for how y'all look.
Absolutely.
So there's a certain need for that. On top of that, beautiful things, there's a resonance of needing to be seen. Beautiful things is not just beautiful for no reason. Like, it's a innate vibration inside those things where it's like, nah, I'm beautiful for a reason. I want somebody to look at me. There's nothing wrong with that. And then on the other end of that, for the man that may be in a situation where he's with a woman who's working through that, right? Maybe doing things that dishonor herself, or may just be on the more tasteful side of things, like you have been in certain moments. What would you advocate him do? I know you said express yourself. Don't give ultimatums. Don't say, because I feel comfortable, I need to control you. But how should he navigate that space? Do you feel like that's enough, where if he's uncomfortable, maybe he should fall back? Maybe they're not aligned enough to be able to be in a relationship at that point. What does that look like to you?
To me, it looks like if you tell me, because there's been times where I told you I didn't feel chosen. And instead of you just sitting with the fact that, okay, well, maybe I didn't choose you, you asked me to actually unpack that first. Yeah. You're like, okay, well, what is actually making you feel uncomfortable? Where do you think that uncomfortability stems from? What is the root of that? What does this remind you of in your past? So I think if a man is going to say that how his woman dresses makes him feel uncomfortable, we have to unpack that uncomfortability.